Hey, what's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about meat versus plant-based beef. Nowadays, when you go to a restaurant, particularly a fast food place, you see both the standard meat option as well as a plant-based alternative. And being a conscientious citizen that you might be, you likely consider the alternative, but let's be honest, most of us choose the meat-based option instead. In this presentation, we hope to convince you that the plant-based alternative is not only better for your health, but also better for the environment. Here's some information about Impossible Burger that you might know. Impossible Burger is a plant-based alternative to meat, which is based on soy. It has lower cholesterol, similar protein and iron content to real meat. So in a lot of ways, it's similar to real meat, but as we'll see later in the presentation, their environmental effects are very different. One has much higher carbon dioxide emissions and water use, land use, all that kind of thing. But we'll get into that. And an example of fast food, normal beef is McDonald's. You also see things at Burger King, anywhere they have beef burgers, really. But we chose McDonald's as one of our points of reference because it's such a common meat source that has somewhat unsustainable practices. And although they claim to be trying to change to more sustainable practices, they say that they'll change to hopefully being 30% sustainable by 2030, but then have no actual plans listed out for how they're going to change their current methods. And one thing that we wanted to point out, what is in a Big Mac? Now, you might be thinking, oh, it's just a beef patty, lettuce, bread, bun, the normal things that you see in your everyday burger. But this is a list that we compiled of all of the ingredients in it. Over 50 different parts, obviously, for example, in enriched flour at the top here, there's multiple parts to that flour, which, they're not necessarily all different ingredients, but they're all different parts, all of this stuff going into it. And it's really just surprising how much is in it and how not only unhealthy it is, but like how much has to go into it to create this kind of thing. And the regular burger impacts in America, we consume about 50 billion hamburgers a year, which is crazy to think about, with an annual impact of 1,050 pounds of carbon dioxide, which might not sound like a lot, but if you think about the fact that carbon dioxide is a gas which doesn't have a lot of molecular weight, that is a lot altogether. 66,000 gallons of water used per year. And a comparison is that the amount of beef that we produce per year is equal to about 32 million cars. Again, another thing that's crazy to think about on that kind of scale. And Impossible Burger, on the other hand, or other plant-based, veggie-based burgers have similar statistics to it, where soy-based burgers take 87% less water, 96% less land use, 89% lower greenhouse gases, and agriculture is the biggest source of greenhouse gas emissions, and just being able to lower it by a significant amount would be huge, of course. And then we also see some data in this graph to the right about the calories of each of the burgers. We see that it's pretty similar, even though one of them is plant-based and some are meat-based. And fat content, similar, salt, and overall, they're pretty similar in their nutrients, but very different in the impact on the environment. And that's a big thing that we need to take into account for the sake of our future, sake of lowering greenhouse gas emissions. And here we have a short video, and I'm not going to play the whole thing. We will link this presentation, and you can come back and watch the whole thing if you'd like. But essentially, it's about how long it takes for a plant-based burger versus a meat-based burger to decay. which shows how much preservatives are used. As you can see, I didn't show the titles on each of them, I don't think, but the one on the left is a veggie burger, the one on the right is a meat-based burger, and you can just see how many preservatives are in the burger, which is not super healthy for you. And yeah, so in conclusion, plant-based burgers are much more beneficial for the environment, both in terms of greenhouse gas emissions and health benefits. I hope this helped you, well, at least inform you about the environmental impacts of the different types of burgers, and hopefully it will influence you buying veggie burgers, hopefully. Maybe not just veggie burgers, plant based alternatives, rather than just going to meat, which has such high methane, carbon dioxide emissions, just much worse for the environment overall. Yep. Thanks for watching.